Let's get some analysis on this now from Sina Azodi. He joins us from the U.S. Capitol. He's the Director of Middle East Studies at George Washington University. Thank you so much, Sina, for being with us on the program today. So the current state of relations between the U.S. and Iran shows that despite the threats that we're seeing from Donald Trump, there still is room for diplomacy. When it comes to renegotiating the nuclear deal, though, what is Trump looking for, and what is Iran willing to do?
Well, based on what I've seen in public sources, is that the president demands that Iran stops enrichment or gives up, rather, enrichment, because Iran has not been able to do any uranium enrichment since the June 2025 conflict. Hand over the 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium fissile material that it possesses. The U.S. also wants Iran to limit its missile program, which is now one of the largest, if not the largest, missile arsenal in the region, and also to stop supporting non-state groups in the region. I think that having a deal on proxy groups or non-state groups in the region is feasible. But I do not believe that Iranians are willing to give up on the issue of enrichment, and I think this is something that the U.S. and Iran have been, discussing and rather fighting for over the decade.
Trump says much of Iran's nuclear facilities were destroyed during the 12-day war months ago. Militarily, how prepared do you think Iran is to counter the Armada that Trump is saying is moving towards them?
Well, I don't think anyone should be under any illusion that Iran, as a third-tier military power, cannot win a decisive war against the United States, which possesses the best and largest military force in the world. But I think that the Iranians would try to impose costs on the United States, disrupt the oil markets by attacking oil tankers in the region. And if the U.S., again, if this conflict ever erupts, target U.S. bases in the region. We have to keep in mind that Iran's ballistic missiles are medium range, which means that Iran cannot target the U.S. mainland. So it would have to be limited to targeting American bases in the region. The U.S. has 8 or 9 bases in the Middle East. So those are the potential targets if the U.S. attacks. And again, as I said, shipping of oil through the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz.
I also want to take a moment to talk about public sentiment, both among the public in Iran and the Iranian diaspora. We've seen them be very vocal, especially since the protests there began and Trump's intervention in those protests. But the sentiment is very multidimensional, with some against U.S. intervention, others who simply want a change in the leadership within the country. How do you read into what we're hearing out of both the public within Iran and the Iranian diaspora?
Well, there are those both in Iran and in the Iranian diaspora who are so fed up with the Islamic Republic that they want a regime gone at any cost. That includes military intervention. But history teaches us that bombs will not bring democracy. We can ask, the Iraqis, the Libyans, people of or Germany or Japan when they were both firebombed in 1945. Regime changes will not happen from the air. If there's going to be any regime changes, it would require boots on the ground. I don't believe that President Trump is willing to risk that. So my opinion is that, yes, emotions are very strong. People are fed up. But I'm skeptical whether a military intervention would bring democracy to Iran, or rather any other country.
Okay, Sina Azodi, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour and sharing that analysis with us.